Hello guys, welcome to your favorite podcast, Uncensored with UFO, where my co-host and I will be talking about everything and anything. If you're new to the podcast, please subscribe and follow us on all our social media platforms. Thank you. Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Uncensored with UFO. On today's episode, we'll be talking about marriage license expiration date. Should a marriage license have an expiration date? Should it expire after a year? To give people the opportunity to reevaluate their marriage and see if they really want to stay married to their partner or go their separate ways. I'm your host, favorite host of course, Ufoma, and I have here with me my co-host, Rume.
Hey everyone, my name is Rume Ekong, the co-host of the show, and nice to meet everybody.
And I also have here with me Cyrene. Cyrene has a podcast too, and she can also introduce herself and talk, tell us a little bit about her podcast. So just introduce her podcast to us.
Okay. Hello, Uncensored with UFO fam. I'm Cyrene. I do have a podcast. It's called Sit Down with Cyrene. And on that podcast, pretty much we talk about life issues. I talk about my very failed relationships. And I just kind of share my musings on life, pontificate, good stuff over there. Just a really, really quick synopsis of who I am. I'm a freelance model that's based in Austin, Texas. I'm a Rivers girl and a podcast host. Pretty much it.
Okay, thank you, Cyrene, for joining us tonight. And we have, of course, Baba T. And we'll let him introduce himself, as usual.
Yeah, as usual. Me, I'm not selling myself. I'm not selling myself because Cyrene just gave us a bit of a preview. Anyways, it's your boy Baba T. You know who I am. You've heard a lot about my nonsense talk, but it's just a feedback on what the podcast is all about. You can find me on sababati_history on Instagram or Baba T. There we go.
Done.
Okay, so back to the topic for tonight. Thank you, Baba T. And back to the topic for tonight. So should marriage license actually expire after a year, like the way your state's driver's license expires or your tag expires, in order to give people the opportunity to reconsider and reevaluate their relationship? I would go first. Honestly, I think a year is actually just indulging people in their bad behaviors, because people will gladly jump on 1 year, like I'm in, I'm out. That's like dating. Actually, that's like dating. That's not even a proper relationship, because people have been in proper relationships longer than 1 year. I wouldn't say I want when I eventually do get married, I wouldn't say I want my marriage license to expire within a year or whatever. I want to be married for real, for love, till death do us part, as they always say. But I also understand why some people will be hesitant about that, because I did a survey on Instagram on this particular topic, and surprisingly, a lot of people actually agreed. They actually voted yes, that marriage licenses should expire. And this, funny enough, was coming from a couple of married people. I would say percentage of 95% said yes. Okay, well, that's me exaggerating. Let's say 75% said yes and 25% said no. And I think I get where they're coming from. Like I said again, I wouldn't say 1 year is a little, 1 year is just 1 year. Maybe 5 years for people to reevaluate themselves, because I don't really see it as, okay, people do marital vow renewal and whatnot. But yeah, I don't want that for myself, but I get where people are coming from, and I'll let you guys take the floor.
No. So what's your take on that? So is your take, yes, it should be longer than a year, but it should expire?
Like I said, personally, for my personal life and my values that I have, I wouldn't say, I want that to happen to me. You know what I mean? Because I haven't had anything that traumatic that has happened to me that will make me say, you know what, I think this is it. So I'm a little bit in between the fence with that. Yeah. But I kind of understand where people are coming from by saying, yeah, because because I did reach out to a couple of people who said yes. And they're like, it's not like I'm saying, oh, after 1 year or something, like I'm done with this marriage. It just gives you opportunity to sit back as a couple and reevaluate things. And, it makes it that way when the person explained it to me, I kind of understood, because that way you're prepared. Your mind is, you're going to have this conversation. Like, let's not fool each other. Like, let's sit down and tell each other, have we really been in this for this? Or are we really just, because, and I think situations when people don't do things like that is what breeds. I make these funny jokes where I'm like, some people were really brought up with love and some people were brought up on survival. And I'm going to explain, like, a child that was brought up with love is like, two loving parents, they're in this together. Like, they have their little differences, but they know, like, we want to be together. And people who were brought up on survival is more like, mommy and daddy know they don't get along anymore, but they're only there because of the children. Like, you talk to a couple of married people and they're like, you know what, I'm only still married because we have kids. And I think, well, to them, they think it makes sense because it's more economical for them to stay together. But in all honesty, I think situations like that and environments like that has actually, like, really produced a lot of, toxic individuals. Because a lot of people are toxic out there. I'm probably toxic in my own way too, due to the way I was brought up or some things about my family. Not like my family is toxic, but I have my issues due to the way I was brought up. And yeah, so I can see where they're coming from. But me mentally, I still believe in love. I made a joke on Instagram today. I'm like, I'm still going to marry the love of my life and it's going to work. Like, we're not going to get divorced, but I can't control what will happen in the future. I don't pray that happens, but hey. So yeah, I'll let you guys take the floor. Thank you.
So you're on the fence about it, right?
Yeah, I'm okay. A little indecisive.
On the fence. Okay.
Okay.
Rume, you go, or Cyrene. Let me go last, because my opinion about this is quite big.
Cyrene, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I guess I could go.
Right.
So I think I'm actually with on this one. I say no. I say no because isn't that technically the whole point of divorce?
Exactly.
Or like even the whole point of like a prenuptial agreement, isn't that kind of like, I guess, you could put in there, after a year we reevaluate the premise of our relationship. I'm a sucker for love, y'all. I'm a sucker for love. So the whole business aspect of it, I think, is what's throwing me off, because it's like, damn, so business is just gonna be in my life everywhere. I can't just have real authentic love. You know what I mean? So that's my take on it. The short answer for me is no. I don't think marriage license should expire. But I will say this. I do see how, I guess, logically or business-wise, it would make sense because of how marriage is in this country. Just speaking as like a U.S. citizen, how marriage is seen now. So that's my take.
Good girl. Very good girl. God will bless you for that answer.
I'm going to have to agree with that as well. I don't think it should expire. Marriage should be a one-time commitment. It shouldn't be, let's reevaluate and then let's come back and see if we still want to be with each other. That's not how it's supposed to work. However, from a logical standpoint, from a business standpoint, I understand. I feel like more guys would probably even be inclined to marry if the marriage license expires. So another question I have in mind is, when the marriage license expires, what does that mean? Does it mean that this lady has, absolutely nothing to do with you, your wealth, and your money and stuff like that? Where does the prenuptial agreement stand when the license expires and stuff like that? If everything is just cancelled, where, okay, yes, you're no longer married, she's no longer connected to you in any way, she can't take your wealth, then I see why it'll make sense for that to work. And like I said before, I think a lot of guys will probably be more inclined to marry simply because of that. But personally, I don't think it should expire. It defeats the whole purpose of being married, in my opinion.
Can I come in, Rume? Sorry to
no, me, I haven't spoken, no, madam.
Okay.
Yeah. Please, let me come in. Yeah, let me come in. Okay, so personally, God will bless everybody that said no, because let's take it one by one, right? The most important thing in this question or this topic is marriage. Marriage is for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in health, in whatever, and the fact that you're getting married to start with is you guys are agreeing and obviously coming in the eyes of the law, right? To actually be together and ride on, in sickness and health until maybe someone dies and then, then you're single. However, when you say marriage license should expire, if it expires, that's just a divorce. That's just you guys saying you're not together no more. You're now going apart, going separate ways, and that's it. So that doesn't really happen. It doesn't make sense to me, because if you're going to say to somebody that you get married, if you're thinking about, let's be together for a while and then see how it goes, and then you get married, you've got the time, you've got all the experience. I understand people do end up falling out of love as they get along. Everybody likes to be in love, but if it doesn't work out that way, you go your separate ways. So for the people that, obviously I'm not married, so I don't know exactly how it is, but for the people that are actually married and they're saying, yes, that the license should expire, it's because they're thinking about getting divorced. That is already in their mind. They're already tired of the relationship, and maybe not that tired, but obviously they're thinking about other options. Because if you're married, you're married. When it comes to business part of things, yeah, people do it for different things. Maybe to get the papers. Maybe let's get married together. We can claim this insurance, whatever. Or let's get married together. We can start a business, and we might be a unit for a while, and then we break up. People do that as well, but that is not really marriage for love. At the end of the day, marriage is meant to be for love. That business part of things doesn't really count. Doesn't really have anything to do with anything. So if people are actually doing that, obviously that's just scamming. Let's be honest with ourselves. But as for me and the family of Shonola Showing Cats, we know for a fact that if you get married, you're going to get married to be in that relationship forever. So there's no point in you trying to cut off the marriage license after a year. Okay, what are you even thinking of a year? You might as well not just get married at all, because you've got the time when you're dating to find out if you're going to be with that person or you wouldn't be. So I think that's my point.
Okay. So thank you guys for giving your opinion. Like I said earlier, like I'm a little on the fence with that. I don't want that to happen. I don't want to get married and be like, wake up tomorrow morning and look at my partner and be like, no, you know what? I'm done with you. I still believe in love, and I believe eventually when I do get married, I want to be in it and make it work and try everything possible to actually make my marriage, my relationship, whatnot, make it work. But I don't think people were people who probably said yes, yeah, the business aspect, like because I'm one, for me, I actually do crack this joke, and I'm like, I don't know what prenuptial agreement is, because when you're giving me the option of prenuptial agreement, you're literally telling me sometime in the future, this, whatever we have right now, is not going to be there again. Like, that's the way I used to see it. But I have, I'm older. I've seen people get married. I've seen marriages crash, and I've seen the impact financially. So to a certain level now, I'm kind of like, you know what, if that's going to make you sleep better at night, if prenuptial agreement is going to make you sleep better, I'm not going to like judge you or be like, yeah, why are you doing that? But I don't necessarily think it's just for the financial aspect why they said no. Someone actually said, love is an action word. Like, you choose to love someone, you fall in love and you fall out of love. Like, and there are times you meet someone, they're just at that moment in your life, like they're the best thing. They're like everything you need. But one thing I also know that is the most constant thing is change. Our taste bud change. Not me saying like, oh, you know what, I don't like the way that person looks anymore. But some people's goals just don't align with yours anymore. So if you're gonna like stick to this, is not me supporting it. I'm just trying to like play devil's advocate and see where they're coming from. Like, goals do not align anymore. Like, people's morals just even change, or you just think this person is morally upright because, people have been known to pretend. I know a whole lot of examples, really, really close to home that I'm not going to talk about. Like, people have been known, people, they do pretend a lot, and then you get into it, like what you thought you saw is completely different. So like that moment where you have 5 years, like it's not like, oh, you know what, TikTok. I mean, I'm saying 5 years because I think, 1 year is just BS. That's not even your date. Like, that's not even your being in a relationship. 1 year is like talking to each other. I'm still getting to know you because, so I think 1 year is a little too unrealistic. I'll give it 5 years because, 5 years, a lot of things would have happened and whatnot. Like, you offend each other. It takes some people 6 months to forgive the next person. I mean, we're all just wired differently. So, you have enough time to reevaluate things and be like, no. But I don't think it's necessarily like, boom, 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 I'm waiting 5 years and I'm done with these. I mean, for some people, maybe that's what it is. But it just gives you opportunity to also, like, talk to each other back, and gives you that moment to say, you know what, I really like you. Like, we've made this work. I mean, people wish each other a happy anniversary every year. I mean, there's some happy anniversaries that I see online, like, dude, and I know, like, it's not really happy anniversary. That's not me like shaming anybody for like what's really going on in their life. But if they had that opportunity to actually, I think it will help people sit up, like, you know what, because some people have a problem communicating. So if you know that, okay, you know what, after 5 years, we're really going to sit and have serious-minded conversation, it might just open the opportunity for better communication and whatnot. Like I said, again, I'm not for it, but I'm playing the devil's advocate and trying to see where people are coming from. So, yeah.
Okay, but this is my thing though. It almost makes it sound like a Netflix subscription or something, like to have a marriage license. My whole thing is, why do we have to involve the government to regulate how we move in our marriage? Shouldn't we constantly be having these conversations? Okay, babe, where do you feel like I could improve in this relationship? Or, like, I can't even think of questions off the top of my head, but I just feel like these are conversations that you should constantly be having. You should be self-aware enough to recognize certain things that you're doing that may benefit or take away from the relationship. I don't feel like you need the government or whatever to hold your hand and do that. Because at what point do we regulate ourselves? At what point do we hold ourselves accountable? So I know the part of the argument is that marriage certificates expiring holds people accountable, but I feel like we should hold ourselves accountable. If that's the case, then the government or whatever should be involved in everything. And we really don't want that, do we? So.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. However, I understand both sides. I understand wanting to have a long-lasting marriage and also playing devil's advocate as well. Because yes, you don't want to involve the government in marriage and things like that. But if you think about it, in today's society, especially in America, what is the definition of marriage? People don't look at marriage as what it used to be. It's like, oh, okay, now if you're marrying someone, you're thinking of every possible thing that the person can do to harm you, which is why people sign different agreements and stuff like that. So as much as I want to be like, hey, I want to love you, I want to be with you, I want to hold myself accountable, I want to hold you accountable. It's in today's society, it's almost naive to even to say that, especially if you're someone with that is marrying down. So if, for example, if I have more resources than you and I'm marrying someone with, I'm marrying someone with less resources than me, let me word that better. I'm going to be looking like, okay, I don't know, what risk am I actually taking by marrying this person? And when you start to think of things like that, it's not even necessarily about I can't speak English again. Involving
the Spanish accent.
I'm trying to keep up his salary, but I cannot. It's not even just about involving the law, but it's just about how am I safe, and the only way to actually protect yourself legally is by involving the law at the end of the day. So, I mean, I don't know. It's a tricky subject, but it sounds like the safest route by just making this whole marriage license thing, for a certain amount of time. So I kind of get the other side.
Yeah, I understand the other side as well. Because marriage, I guess in a sense, it is a legal relationship. There's property ownership that's involved, debts, inheritance, divorce, alimony, death benefits, all that type of stuff. But I guess my thing with this, right, and it could be because I'm a sucker for love, because I see my parents, and that's really my definition of marriage. I just feel like it's almost like a precursor for apathy to build in a relationship, and for it to get stale and mundane and like a loss of interest, because it will be so business focused. I guess a healthy balance is something that I would heavily consider. Like, will we still be able to have fun? Will we still be able to laugh? Because the way that I am at work with my boss, I'm not really the same person when I'm in a relationship. So going into a relationship or going into a marriage and then having to think of like a pretty much like a time bomb, if you will, with the marriage license expiring, it's kind of like, damn, if I'm not on my P's and Q's, this person could just up and leave me or not choose to renew the license. And then that brings in that question. So if he doesn't want to renew the license and I do, what happens? Like, what goes on? Do we just end the marriage now?
You fight.
But
you don't cook for a little while. He sleeps on the couch for a little while. Actually, you might even sleep in the front of the porch. So yeah, you can make him do anything because, well.
But okay, so we're all talking about love, marriage, around love. Like, in all honesty, some years ago, the way marriage was actually introduced to our ancestors, if we're all being very honest, like, because I mean, I'm not even gonna use like the whole British monarch as an example. I'm even gonna go like come closer to home. Like, I know the days of like our great grandparents and whatnot, like it barely ever happened when people married for love. It was either like, you know what, I have this daughter, that family is over there, like, you know, they have a whole plot of like, you know, they're in wealth, they're rich. And I know if my daughter marries into that home, you know, it's gonna work. So marriage literally from time memorial has kind of sort of always been about business. It's like it's always benefited someone. Like, because I mean, I know that for sure. Like, and I know if a lot of us go back to like talk to our like, yo, mom, how did your mom meet your dad? Like, how did this happen? It always was about like, you know what, this family coming together with this family will, you know, form an alliance or something. There was always a reason. It wasn't just because of love. There were a percentage of people who married because of love was actually very, very, you know, the percentage it's actually really, really low. So I really won't I won't say, oh yeah, because okay, after 5 years, you no longer love me and whatnot. And I won't even see it that way. I would just see it as, you know what, we're vibing, like, or not me though. Like I said, I already know where I stand. And that's what I pray for every day. And I hope the good Lord hears my prayer and, you know, answers my prayer and I have a happy home. But I can understand where, like, you know, I don't necessarily think people who said yes are thinking like, oh, time bomb, like, you know, if I'm not doing this right, like, because I think if you're even if you're married to someone who's telling you, you know what, after 5 years, someone who's going to tell you after 5 years, you know, a married license expires after 5 years, doesn't even need to have a married license that expires after 5 years. Dude, you guys might be married in 2 weeks time and it's like, yo, you know what, you know, I'm the one who pays your bills. If I don't marry you, you're never going to be nothing. Like, we see it in movies. We hear people talk about it. Matter of fact, if we're being honest, we probably have some acquaintances. I mean, because no one wants to be associated with someone who talks like that, who we've heard say things like that, like, you know what, if not for me, you know, you won't have these. It's like the way some people get married to get, like, you know, I don't know, whatever works for them, reasons, yeah, to do something. The person is like, oh, I'm gonna call immigration on you. So these things happen. It doesn't even have to like be around that 5 year gap. I think the 5 year thing, just for me, I would see it as opportunity for people to actually work on themselves, communicate better. Then again, whatever rocks their boats, I'm not for it. I don't want to have a marriage. I will see it, if actually even becomes a thing, I will see it as more Like, okay, you know what? After 5 years, we're doing a marital marriage renewal, like, having a big party and hoping that that's what will happen every 5 years, not because after 5 years, like, what, you're out of the door, like you're out of my life. And yeah, that's just me.
You guys are just talking about, you guys are talking from modern day way of living. Because nowadays people just get married and divorce themselves. Like literally that happens all the time. That,
exactly. So why do you need a time frame to confine that? That's my issue is you really don't need a time frame to confine you like that. At the end of the day, you choose how your marriage works. So license, no license.
That's why you have counseling
in the relationship.
So yeah, I feel like laws and I feel like law should not accommodate people's bad behavior, because a lot of the scenarios that you've mentioned, although yes, they are true, but at the same time, they're not right. So we shouldn't be making laws based on the probability that people are going to do bad things. There should be standards are set in place to hold people accountable.
But unfortunately, Rume, people are going to be people, and like I said, I'm not married, but I've had the privilege of talking to a couple of married people that I'm very, very close to. And these things are just not white and black. Like I don't know, in all honesty, I'm being very positive. I know my marriage is going to work. I know my marital life will be better than what my parents had, because I know that's what's like my mom prays for every day for me. Like, your life is going to be sweeter than, in her words, sweeter than mine. You're going to have it rosier than I did and whatnot. But
okay, wait, before you get married to someone, right? I'm just trying to ask you a question personally. Okay, I know you said you get married, but before you get married to someone, you look at the person, right? And you go, this is what I want. Yes or no?
Yeah. Okay. You look at the person and you tell yourself,
yeah, this is what you want. This is what you want to be with. So even if the person farts in the middle of the night when they're sleeping, that doesn't affect you. It's okay. If the person snore, it's okay. If the person talks in their dreams, it's okay. If the person comes back from work and just takes off shoe anywhere in the house and goes upstairs and just lay down, it's okay, because this is what you choose to have, right?
Yeah, I mean, for people who have those kind of issues.
So for me, I just want to understand, why should there be an issue where you're expecting the license to expire? Because it's a marriage. It's two people coming together to become a family and create a family. You don't want to create 17 billion families, literally hopping from one place to another because the license has expired. That doesn't make sense.
Sunday, like I said, I'm not in support of it. I'm playing the devil's advocate, and
don't be a devil advocate. Be a Jesus angel.
I mean, I'm being realistic. Me saying I'm playing the devil's advocate, I'm being realistic. Like people. I mean, people have to let you and I know. We probably, like, each and every one of us on this podcast right now probably have heard, even if it's not personal, like probably from a movie or whatnot. Like, these things are just never really the way. You know what I'm just going to say is everyone should just pray for the very best of whatever. Like, and that's what I said from the beginning. I'm like, I'm not in support of it. I'm just playing devil's advocate to be like, you know what? I can see where you're coming from. That's not what I pray for, but whatever.
I don't want the people out there. I don't want the people out there to think that, okay, I can play the devil's advocate and after a year, I'll be like, remember that podcast that I heard a year ago? Yeah. They said that lady, Amaka, very lovely lady, by the way, child of God, she was praying on the podcast. But she said, after a year, we can just, evaluate, or maybe I'll not remember to renew my license, and then we'll see what will happen. I don't want them to think that at all. I want them to get married.
They're allowed to reevaluate. In life, actually, the same way friendship, people are allowed to reevaluate their friendship. Matter of fact, I think I'm at that stage in my life mentally where I feel like you should even reevaluate your relationship with some family members. Sorry, like sleep and wake up every day and reevaluate it.
See, I get the whole idea of reevaluating yourself, but come on. When it comes to marriage, there are a lot of things involved aside from just yourself. What happens when you have kids? I think we're just talking about it from a relationship point of view. But when you have kids with a person, when you have a legacy, and not just in terms of money, like you have actual lives that you've brought to the world, how exactly do you now want to say, yes, let's reevaluate a marriage license after 5 years and you have like 2-3
it doesn't
years?
necessarily mean they're getting a divorce.
No, but what I'm saying is that it opens room for that. It's not even a divorce anymore. It's a situation where, hey, we're just not married.
Themselves better and be like, you know what?
But see, right now, it doesn't even exist and people are not behaving themselves. You will now make an avenue for people to leave the marriage and you think they will behave themselves?
Nobody on earth will be married. Nobody on earth will be married.
We actually, I'm sorry,
but
I'm just...
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'll let you talk, sorry, because I'm just about to crack a joke.
I was just gonna say, at what point do we use our autonomy to be self-disciplined, self-accountable, and self-aware when it comes to relationships? Because if we're gonna realistically speak, a prenuptial agreement is basically an addendum to marriage, to the whole, whatever your concept of marriage is. So the license, I don't know, the license thing it's just really throwing me off. I feel like marriage is a union. So when you decide to join yourself with someone, you release a lot of your selfishness. Because now, because you're right, because you're involving kids. Most likely you're involving properties, probably businesses. It's more than just, well, this is me. This is what I want. Da-da-da-da. Like, I feel like a lot of those conversations you should have had prior to joining y'all's lives together.
Yeah. Because it's for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer.
Nah, today I think that for better,
real
for
selfish
worse,
vibes.
For poorer is a little exaggerated. It's never as easy as for better, for worse. Like, okay, I'm gonna put Tunde on the spot right now. Like, we keep talking about for better, for worse, and sickness and health. I mean, I know Tunde is a cool guy, like stand-up guy. He's my G from about 15 years now, so I know Tunde wouldn't do this. But what if a situation, people have been known to get married, like, God forbid, the person you really think is the love of it, because people get married for different reasons. A lot of people are married to the physical aspect of the person, like, you hear some people say, oh yeah, she doesn't look the same way anymore. It's all bad habits, like nonsense behavior, let's call it what it is. But what if some situations where, like, this person is just not who they want anymore? Like I said, I'm just out here playing devil's advocate, and that's not what I want for myself. And that's not what I think anyone out there should want for themselves, because love is a beautiful thing. But hey, if that's what you think works for you, do you?
If they decide they don't want to be together anymore, then get a divorce. It's as simple as that. And you have
people have been known to get a divorce and then come back again. So it's the same thing.
They're confused.
And then they'll renew the whole thing. So that's exactly. So that's them renewing the license, so they get back together again.
Big one.
I mean, they don't have to have like a big, huge wedding, Siren.
They are confused. Very confused.
It's just to give the government more money. Because like people are saying renew license. It's gonna cost money. There's no way we're gonna be having marriage license for free. I'm sorry. I'm not spending that much. I'm already
the only way
6 figures spending for my wedding. Now on top of that, I should do marriage license renewal. I beg, auntie, please.
Okay, Sarin has been around the lot. Wait, where are you from originally, by the way?
I'm from River State.
Oh, you're Nigerian, but hi. Mm-hmm. Okay. I just said I beg God, the Nigerian accent came out. I'm like,
LOL.
We're not here like using pidgin to talk about you. Can you imagine?
Bass boost. Erin is as Nigerian as it gets, isn't it?
Very, very.
But anyway, this was actually
accent. That's all.
Yeah, this was a really nice conversation, and I'm gonna I feel like this will probably have a part 2, like the
absolutely. I have a lot to say.
Did. So I will let Rume, the co-host. Today, do you have any other thing to say before Today says I shut him up again?
Oh, good.
He called me out on the last episode.
I know. I listened. I was screaming.
Babatunde.
Yeah. You guys won't let me speak.
Else?
Yeah, you guys won't let me speak. It's okay.
Dude.
Just don't get married and have an expiry date on your license.
Honestly,
that is all I have to say.
Let me ask you guys one question before we even go. Would you guys sign prenup?
Why should
right now, where I am, honestly, I would. I
You
mean,
will.
I would. I'm not gonna lie, like, because I get where people are coming from. Not because I want anything to happen to my marriage or whatnot, but I just know people are not normal, dude.
So you want to marry somebody that is not normal?
Hoping the person. I'm hoping the person I get
Why would
married
you
to
sign
is
a
normal.
prenup?
But
Why
I
would you
mean,
sign a
you might wake
prenup?
up and not be
You're-
normal. I mean, dude, we think our family members are normal at times, and
I mean, you
because
see the
people,
signs
because people always think about the
dude,
financial
you're
side of
related
marriage.
to some people. You think you see the signs. You won't see
I
it
saw the
until one
signs
day.
in
Okay, well, I guess
talk about.
Anyway,
but
I'm just
why
gonna
does it have
let
to be
we're gonna have a
What-
part 2 for this. I'm gonna let Rime round up real quick.
Yeah, I'm about to round up. I just want to hear everybody's answer. We still have a few more minutes.
Well, my own answer did not really come out because people are starting to. I'm not doing it this week. Anyway, anyways, you can round up. We'll talk about this on the next topic.
Siren, do you have an answer?
Yes, honestly, I would sign it because I know I'm gonna contest it in court if it come down to it.
Damn.
So
Sharp
let's
girl,
do it. Hey, let's do
high
it.
five to you, Siren.
Yeah,
like,
whoever married Siren, make sure her eye is sharp. There is no distress, nothing.
I mean, you might actually even be the one at the end of the day who actually brings more to the think of you actually having all this money and some you don't know. I mean, people. Yeah,
Cool.
remember, I'll let you round up real quick because I'm
All
still
right.
at work.
All right, okay, I'm a round up.
Short
So appreciate you guys for coming on. We're definitely going to have a part 2. Thank you all our listeners. Make sure you go on our social media, follow us to stay updated. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Thank you, Tunde, for joining. It's almost 3 a.m. London time. And thank you so much, Siren. We really appreciate your input. Thank you, our co-host.
Cheers. You don't know.
That doubles as my brother, by the way.
The best co-host in the world. You already
Hi,
know.
guys.